Hey everybody, this is Chi-Whiz, and I want to show you my new ultralight Esbit system. This can work whether you use a FireFly wood-burning stove or you just use a windscreen. Anyway, the components start with this thing that I'm calling a fire ring. So this is actually an Esbit burner that surrounds the Esbit cube. And it has some air inlets on the sides, and those air inlets can either be on the bottom or on the top just by flipping it over. If they're on the bottom, the cube burns at normal speed at about 15 minutes for the burn, and if they're on the top, it takes about a half an hour to 35 minutes for the burn. So that's great for simmering or dry baking. In both cases, there's a flexible aluminum base that you want to use along with this fire ring. Each of those weighs 2 grams, so the total weight of this burner is 4 grams. Pretty light. The next component is what I'm calling a tripod pot support, and it's made up out of pieces of stainless steel rod, very thin, and brass tubes. And it just gets hooked together at the corner and then forms a nice sturdy tripod stand. And I've had as much as my 1.3 liter Evernew full of water on top of that. And it's about 2 inches high, which is perfect for the burner. And so your pot just goes on top of that and is held at just the right height above the burner. So if you're using a windscreen, you would just set this up, get it going, put your windscreen on, and your pot, and you'd be all set. If you're using it with a FireFly, you basically use the FireFly disassembled as a windscreen with the windshield as the final component to make a full circle of wind protection. You can look at how that works in my multi-fuel option page video. Anyway, so that's the fire ring and tripod stand. But what if you're doing dry baking? If you're doing dry baking, the way this system works is that you actually bake in your pot, and you have 2 components for that. So one is called an X spacer, and this just goes in the bottom of your pot to lift your baking pan up off the bottom so that it doesn't get bottom burned. And then my bake pan is the other component. And this bake pan is made out of a special aluminum that can be bent and rebent. So you can make it flat, or you bend it in at the corners to create a pan. So it kind of goes like this, and you kind of keep working it around and play with it till you get a pan that you like. When you're done, it's going to look something like this, and this is the perfect size to make a large muffin or a real nice piece of cornbread. If it doesn't fit in your pot, you can kind of bend these corners over a little bit to create a little bit extra room to fit in your pot. But it basically goes in the pot right on top of that support that we saw a minute ago, that X support. So when it's in there, it looks like that. And in about a half an hour to 35 minutes, you can bake 1/3 out of any of these mixes, whether it's the Jiffy corn muffin mix or one of these pouch mixes that make 6 muffins. So you basically use about 1/3 of one of these mixes to do that. And that works really well. In terms of packing things up, the way I like to do that is that this ring, even though it's round, actually folds flat without being taken apart. And the same thing is true of the X support. It folds flat. So you can kind of put them together and put them right on this base and just fold the base over. And that makes for a nice compact item in your pack. And of course the tripod, you saw me put it together, it's just as easily taken apart and also will fold flat. So if you're carrying, say, your FireFly in a little pouch, these go nicely into the pouch along with the windscreen, or the windshield, sorry. And this is actually what I'm calling a mini windshield. I've taken about an inch off, so it's a little bit more compact, but still will work well as a ground shield for the FireFly, as well as working to create a windshield. Just to show you how that works again. So let's do the pot support here. We've got that opened up and put together. So then you've got your pot in there. And basically, the FireFly creates most of the windscreen itself, but into the wind, you put this wind shield, which goes all the way down to the ground and provides the additional piece of protection for good wind burning. While I'm at it, I'll just mention that if you want some powdered milk for the trail for your mixes, get this Nido. This is whole powdered milk, unlike the skim, and it's really great. And if you need powdered eggs, try these Ova Easy egg crystals. They're great to put in your baking mix, like the Jiffy Mix needs both milk and eggs to be really tasty. When you're done baking, the pan will fold back flat again, and it comes away from your baked goods very easily. So it's easy to remove from the pan, and then it'll fold flat for you. Anyway, that's the new Esbit system. Hope you like it. Take care on the trail. This is Chi Whiz.